In the heart of southern England, Britain's newest national park rises out of the ocean, the South Downs. Once an ancient seabed, it was forced out of the sea by the same tectonic forces that created the Alps around 65 million years ago. It is home to one of the rarest landscapes on the planet, chalk grassland. Rain soaks quickly into the chalk, creating a landscape that dries out fast. Yet, chalk grassland is one of the richest habitats in Britain. It's spring, and the grassland is in flower. The dry, nutrient-poor soils provide the perfect conditions for some of Britain's rarest and most beautiful plants to flourish. Like a miniature rainforest, there are as many as 40 different species of plant in a single square metre. The grasslands are also a haven for some of Britain's rarest butterflies. There can be as many as 30 species on the wing at any one time. Birds like the corn bunting, meadow pipit and skylark thrive here. Chalk grasslands were created nearly 7,000 years ago when Neolithic man began to clear the forests for pasture and to build his first settlements. They have been grazed by sheep and cattle ever since. Without livestock, the woods would soon return and the grasslands would disappear. June arrives and the orchids burst into flower. 30 of Britain's wild orchids are found here, including the pyramidal orchid and the bee orchid. Its petals perfectly mimic the bees that pollinate them. But in Britain, bee orchids self-pollinate, and the deception is no longer used here. A single orchid produces tens of thousands of seeds. Weighing no more than 1/1000th of a gram, they are dispersed on the wind and can survive for up to 15 years. The abundance of seeds and insects provides a rich food source for the birds, which depend on them to survive the year round. The skylark marks its territory with a spectacular song flight. It flies up to 1,000 feet high. Hovering on the wing for up to an hour, its song can be heard all across the grasslands. It then glides back down to the ground. The grass provides the perfect cover for its nest, and with a healthy insect population, they can produce up to 3 clutches of eggs a year. It's the height of summer, and the round-headed rampion is in bloom. Known locally as the pride of Sussex, it is the county flower, and it's more common on the South Downs than anywhere else. With temperatures warming, the butterflies take to the air. Chalk Hill blues, marbled whites, Duke of Burgundy and grizzled skippers all live on the chalk grassland. As dazzling as anything in a tropical rainforest, it is the Adonis blue that is the jewel in the crown. It lives for just 4 weeks and can survive nowhere else but here. Its caterpillar has a very special relationship with ants. The ants protect it from parasites and small predators. In return, When the ants tap them with their antennae, the caterpillar feeds them with a tiny drop of sugar. It's a win-win situation for both. Across Britain, butterflies and farmland birds are in steep decline. Skylark numbers have fallen by a staggering 75% since the 1970s, and 3/4 of Britain's butterfly species have declined over the last 4 decades. The intensification of agriculture has destroyed much of their grassland habitat, and the use of pesticides and fertilizers has killed off the insects that they depend on. The chalk grassland is a critical refuge for wildlife, but almost 80% has been lost in the last 70 years. Just 4% of the South Downs National Park is chalk grassland. But the South Downs National Park Authority, together with farmers and local communities, are working hard to restore it. By encouraging grazing and creating wildlife corridors to link the grassland together, they're helping the animals and plants that live here to survive.